Hey guys, I've been promising that I was going to do a Memoria Press high school review for ninth grade, so I'm going to go ahead and try and do that today. I don't have any notes or any sort of outline, so we'll see what happens. The first thing I wanted to show you was this is the catalog, and this is what they have for ninth grade literature: Midsummer Night's Dream, Beowulf, Sir Gawain, British Tradition, Hound of the Baskervilles. And then they have Henley Latin and the Aeneid for classics and a book on Christianity, the ancient Romans, algebra through, I'm not sure who that's through, classical composition, modern biology, traditional logic 1 and 2, and Renaissance and the Reformation. So that is what Memoria Press offers if you get their ninth grade package. As you'll see, we don't have it that way. We do have some of the components, but not all of them. But I just wanted to point that out before we got started. So one of the things that my daughter's doing this year is As You Like It for her Shakespeare. And this format is pretty similar to most of the subjects that you're going to see. It has a student guide, vocabulary, journal prompts, and quotes. And I believe there's also essay questions. Yeah, comprehension questions. This is for every act. So as you're reading whichever Shakespeare play or piece of literature, you have that work to do. And I really like that aspect of it. I feel that it reinforces what they're learning. It also comes with a parent guide, which I don't think I grabbed, that has the answer. So you can go over that if you're having a failure to comprehend or something else is going on. So in an ideal world, I'd like to do 2 Shakespeare plays a year, one fall semester, one spring semester. But this is our first year doing, full-on classical homeschooling. So it's a lot. So, and this, I believe this is listed in a different year. But I wanted to start with a comedy. So next we have modern biology. And this is part of the freshman year, like I recently showed. So this is broken up into trimesters. You have very in-depth vocabulary. You have comprehension questions. You have extensive work, right, with every single topic. So someone had asked me what I thought of this biology, and the Cliff's Notes version is that I think it's very rigorous and very good. It comes with, if you get this set, the student guide. There's a teacher guide, which of course I didn't grab. There are tests. So after each chapter, you have different tests you do, and you may have seen one of my videos. I'm grading one of those tests. And this is great if you like to have your student practice test taking, testing comprehension, testing knowledge, and especially if you're in a charter where you need to have tests or work samples. Also part of this set is this biology coloring workbook and the lesson plans for biology, which you can purchase digitally, will tell you, I think they assign this. Oh yeah. So it assigns the biology coloring workbook. This is another aspect of Memoria Press that I wanted to emphasize. I really like, for every subject, there is a detailed lesson plan, which tells your student or you, which work to do on which day. And if you purchase directly from them, I believe they have a ninth grade lesson plan for all of the subjects. So this is only for biology, right? But I think in that one it has all of the different subjects each day. So instead of saying the weeks here, it would be the subjects. We don't do that because Memoria Press is a Christian company, and they are Christian classical education. We are not Christian, so I attempt to purchase the materials that are not specifically Christian, that are more secular, such as biology. And one of the things that I had spoken with someone who was Christian, was interested in using Memoria Press, was the textbook, which I'll show you in a second, is secular, but Memoria Press doesn't teach certain sections of it. as to avoid a conflict with those who are Christian. So if you were curious about that, that's how they do that. So anyway, like I was saying, this assigns all of the different aspects of the biology. And one thing that we realized shortly after beginning the school year was how essential the videos are. And if you buy the biology set, those are included. So you can watch the video lectures and have the concepts taught that way. And this is the textbook, which is now out of print, so kind of hard to find, but not impossible. We got this off of Amazon. It weighs over 5 pounds, and it just seems like a very solid, typical biology class. So if your student was in high school, in a public school, or maybe even private school, this is, par for the course. And so, like I said, in the lesson plans, it tells you what to read each day, what to watch, what comprehension questions to ask, and it's very solid. Also, I recently saw somewhere that Memoria Press has a human anatomy course that's based on the same biology, so I've tried looking into that, but I don't have very much information. I'll share if I can figure that out. Next is our history. If you've been following me for a while, you may recall that we started out the year with AP European history, and it was kind of a disaster. So I was searching for something that would be on the same topic, and maybe there would be some overlap with the knowledge. I landed on this. So I looked at the various different options, and they do have a lot of European history, and I kind of had a hard time deciding which to do. But I went with this one, which is called History of Europe in the Modern World. And this is a 2-part study. The way that we're doing is we're doing book 1, which is volume 1 to 1815 in year 1. And there's a good chance we're going to do volume 2 next year, which is 1816 to present. So this is, again, I'm pretty sure a secular textbook that they use. And you can get this, it's by McGraw-Hill. You can get this anywhere, but I think we bought it through Memoria Press because the pricing wasn't that different. It's really not an easy book to find, like some textbooks you can find on eBay or what have you, but it's so specific that it's not necessarily available. And so, it's just a great course on European history. It goes through everything. And there is... like with the biology, there you buy this, it's like $7 or something. The lesson plans, it tells you exactly what to do on each day. Read the chapter, do the student guide, whatever, do the key dates, all those things. So this is the actual textbook itself that the student will be reading from. And then this is the student guide, which is where the work is done. So here's this is where my student is on. So you have comprehension questions, and there's a lot of them, right? It's very rigorous, very in-depth, short essay questions. Then there's map work, and then essay questions. And so you have that for each chapter. So you start, there's a summative statement, summarize the chapter, summative quote. Then you have key terms, and then key figures, and then the comprehension questions for every chapter. So one thing I recently learned about this, and then this is the teacher manual I'll show you while I'm still talking. One of the things that I learned about this curriculum, and this has all of the answers to the questions and also background information that you can use to teach the different sections. There are also tests, which I didn't happen to grab, but that's in one of the grading videos that I posted was the tests from this. And you only have to purchase this and the student guide once for both years of study. So I will have to get the second volume of the textbook, but we won't have to get another teacher manual or student guide. So I think what I was going to say, this is apparently, if you look in the Memoria Press catalog, I believe this is expected to be done in 11th grade. Yeah. So this is technically an 11th grade text that we are doing for 9th grade. But again, we had started out with the advanced placement course, so I was looking for something comparable to that. So keep that in mind if you're shopping for a 9th grader. Obviously, what I showed you is a lot of work, especially on a daily basis and with all the other things going on. But if you have a student who is trying to do things at a higher level, that has really high goals for, accomplishment, wants to get into the more selective colleges, if that is what you're trying to do, then I absolutely would recommend this curriculum. You definitely get your money's worth. That's something that I have been happy with. I feel that it's a very vigorous education that's comparable to, prestigious private high schools. And I feel that there's a lot of options for support. For example, I believe you could purchase either the class or the video lectures for this course. Don't quote me on that, but there's a lot of, and then they have their forum, there's the Facebook group. I really feel that they have a good system in place. So moving on, one of the novels that we decided to do this year was Pride and Prejudice. My daughter previously did Emma by Jane Austen through a Brave Writer class and really enjoyed that. They ended up writing fan fiction from another character's perspective and are trying to publish on Amazon self-publish. So that's why we went with this. And also, there's kind of a lighthearted and silliness to this novel. My only critique is that it's taking a really long time for her to finish because, as I'll show you, the book is just so much work. So you have definitions that you need to do. These are the key terms. Then you have comprehension questions, and this is for every chapter. Then there's Socratic discussion questions. And then, so that was that chapter. So the solution to this is, we are still adjusting to the first year of high school and the rigors of this curriculum. Is I told her, you've done at least half of this work. Go ahead and just finish this book because we really need to get to something else. But I feel it's very thorough and it does a really good job. So I don't think it's a waste of time. It's just a lot to deal with. And then sort of relatedly is the British tradition. So this is the poetry portion of the language arts for students. This is the textbook, and next year we will do the British tradition too. So this is focusing on the medieval period, and each day you read a different poem. There's some photos in there, and you're just getting a very broad exposure to these different poems from that time. This is the student guide, and this does come with the teacher guide as well. And it's very similar in format to the Pride and Prejudice. I believe it's older. I think that's why that's in that format. And so there's comprehension questions. And again, you're just going really zooming in on the detail of each one of these poems. So I feel it's very thorough and good quality. And then the last thing that we're using from Memoria Press is First Form Latin. Technically, this is not their high school level Latin, but this is what we're using. It works well for our family. Next year, we will be doing Second Form Latin, and I'm going to have one of my children doing the First Form Greek because I feel that the format is very good. It's incremental. You have, so you start out with this lesson with a unit review, first conjugation of verbs, sayings. So this is the textbook, and then this is the student workbook. So, and this is our second year doing this, so we're almost done. But, very common type of a thing where you have the different conjugations. This is how I learned Spanish in high school, and form drills, translation exercises. This is all for that one lesson. So again, it's very in-depth. You're not going to do things halfway with this curriculum. You are going to learn whatever the topic is in depth. And what's really appealing to me is that I feel that encourages a really deep learning. And this is a Latin test from the test book. quizzes and tests. So, that's the approach, is you are completely zooming in on this granular detail, and you're engaging with this Latin or whatever subject in 4 different ways, and you are going to have that, drilled into your brain. So, and then this is the teacher key, which has, the diagrams, translation exercises. And so this is like one of the few curriculum where I feel that not only is it worth purchasing the teacher guides, obviously I'm not going to sit there and make a grading key myself, but I feel that it really streamlines it and makes it a lot easier to teach, and especially to teach so many different subjects which are so rigorous and in depth. And it just makes it a lot more helpful, right? Especially if you have multiple students and they're not all learning these different things. So one thing I did want to say, which I forgot, was in History of Europe and the Modern World, one thing that I noticed, and if you've ever taken a Western Civ course, you may already know this or realize this, is that a lot of European history focuses in on Christianity and the development of the church, the history of the church, the history of different denominations of Christianity. And so, for example, one of the tests that I just graded talks all about Martin Luther and the context that he came up in and all those different things. So that is a topic that I kind of want to flag if you are using this in a secular homeschool or attempting to use Memoria Press materials. But it's not like a deliberate thing. It's just that's how the history of Europe is and was, right? But so I did just want to bring that up as something I noticed. Other than that, there's been a lot of overlap with the Russian studies that we're doing, which I really appreciate. There is a very deep level of detail in all of this, kind of interesting stuff that our student is learning. So I'm very happy with it. And one of the reasons that I wanted to get this video out was because Memoria Press is offering free shipping this month for orders over $150. I'm not an affiliate of any kind. This is not a sponsored video. However, they only do this once a year. And so I'm hoping to get my orders in this month. We will be purchasing many different things for this child for 10th grade. I'm not sure what yet. Obviously, I will share about that. And for my kindergartner, I'm going to be doing their first grade program. So anyway, I hope you guys found this helpful. Feel free to leave me any questions in the comments, or if there was something that you wanted to learn or hear more about that I didn't show that well, please let me know, and I'll be happy to either answer your question or film another short one or whatever. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this helpful.